Hi, I'm Danielle Borland, and I'm representing Stuart today. He got called into a meeting and couldn't get away. So I am the HR manager for our company. In the last 2 years, we have grown from 42 people to over 100. And just in the last 2 weeks, with the amount of samples and volume that we are processing in our company, we are going to be adding a third shift. So we are just growing. So Niajen is our parent corporation out of Lansing, Michigan. They're mostly known for their animal safety, vaccines, and manufacturing. The GeneSeek division, we are the only lab that does processing rather than a manufacturing side. So the mission of Niajen is to be a leading company in the development of food and safety. Go ahead and do the next slide. Back in May, our company, we moved into a new 30,000 square foot facility. And we have grown so much that we already have plans to expand to another 5,000 square foot for our facility because we are growing so quickly in the amount of samples that come into our facility, and the word is getting out about what we do. We are considered the world's leading genomics lab here in Nebraska, and is a lot of our new clients are finding out we are what they are calling the greatest little secret known. You know, nobody knows about us. So we're trying to get the word out there to let kids know that there are jobs in the ag field. We have over 100 scientists and technicians around the globe. We are a worldwide company. We have facilities in Scotland, China, New Zealand, South America. We are expanding into India. It's just ever growing. We use another one of our companies that we use, their technology is Niajen. We use that for our genomic applications that our sales managers go out and they give that information to a lot of our ranchers and farmers. Go ahead to the next slide. This last year, as of May 31st for our fiscal year, we processed over 1 million samples through our lab. Those samples include hair follicles. They could be blood cards. They could actually be vials of blood, semen straws, tissue samples, things like that. We do a wide variety, but they're usually animal or plant-based. This year we are on target to process somewhere between 1.3 million samples and 1.5 million samples. So we have gone to being open and processing 7 days a week just to keep up with the volume. Our vet diagnostics lab is required to do a 24-hour turnaround when they get samples in to our ranchers. We actually have ranchers who bring their samples right in and have them tested, and they have to get them out to them in 24 hours. We do consultations with a lot of universities, a lot of manufacturing companies to see what it is that we can do for them to improve their process and as well as for us. Some of the samples we do, as I said, are tissue and hair samples. We do DNA testing. Our customers, we work with Illumina, Sequenome, Affymetrix. Those are just some of the different types of processes that we use for our testing. We'll kind of go through these pretty quickly. If you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay. We have experts around the world, as I said, both in Brazil and Europe. One of our biggest customers that we just recently started working with in Air Scotland, we are doing a chicken project. So we actually get chicken samples coming in from overseas. We get sheep samples coming in from New Zealand. We work in a wide variety. We work with breed associations. We work with the American Kennel Association. We work with the European Kennel Association. We work with dairy producers in China and in Korea. We work, it's just global. We work with a lot of universities on research projects. We have a very unique and diverse group of people that work with us in our R&D, and we actually create these chips that we can do the testing on. And one of the new chips that we came out with, believe it or not, is called a potato chip. And we actually, with this chip, it's going to allow farmers to help reduce diseases in their potatoes and grow better potatoes at a greater cost, save them some money, things like that. We work with pig chips, horses, you name it. We actually have projects with buffalo, wolf, trout. We are working with the University of Oregon on a eucalyptus and pine chip. So when people think of the ag industry, they usually think of animal, but they need to start including plant because that field is really starting to grow. Farmers will be pushed to produce more food with the same amount of resources with minimal environment. As Linda said, the farms are getting smaller and they're becoming more corporate. So to make that happen, we have a lot of young students or young graduates who are coming into our industry who come from a ranch background, farming background, and so forth, and are starting to go into the genetics so that they can then go home and take that expertise that they're learning to improve their ranch and their facilities. One of the young ladies that did an internship with us this year, her father owns a big stockyard, and she was getting her degree in genetics so that she could go back and help improve that and get the best value for their dollar on their livestock. Next slide. What do we need from you to help us to produce to be successful in Nebraska? These are just some of the jobs that we currently fill with our company. Lab techs, most of them come out with a associate's or bachelor's degree. We have data analysts, have associate's or bachelor's degrees as well. The data analysts, again, this goes to the IT side, we struggle greatly to fill those positions. It's not just analyzing data. A lot of those people that fill those positions have that strong IT background in computer programming, such as C++ and R and things like that. Customer service, most of those folks come right out of high school, but they have to have that good customer service skill. They have to learn to be patient with people and not get frustrated, which is easy to do. As you know, you get frustrated. I need my test results now. Why can't I have my test results now? We're looking into it. I'll get back to you in a few hours. I mean, we've had people call like 3 or 4 times throughout the day. Do you have it yet? Do you have it yet? And our customer service group is very patient and understanding with them, and they're like, I will get you the results as quickly as I can. Bioinformatics and programming. This is the one field that we struggle with the very most. Bioinformatics is a very tough field to fill. It took us over a year to find Dr. Wu, who works with us now. And now that we have Dr. Wu working with us, we've had multiple universities and manufacturing companies and so forth. They've reached out to us and said, can you help us with our bioinformatics project? So right now we're working very closely with UNL on a postdoc program with our bioinformatics. So if you can find somebody, a student, one of your own children that has a love for science and math, this is an area that is ever expanding and is in great need everywhere for bioinformatics. Research and development, as I said, we manufacture and create our own chips that we use for our testing. So that's a good, that is an ever expanding field as well. We also have sales and marketing. We have folks that cover almost, well, I would say 3/4 of the United States, and we have 6 territory managers who cover all of that area. And they go out and they meet these ranchers and they show them what kind of testing and things that we can do for them. Next few slides, you can just kind of go through those real quickly. It just tells you a little more about what it is we look for in these positions, the kind of education that they are needing, what kind of skill sets that we are looking for, and the types of salaries that are available for those positions. It can vary anywhere from making $30,000 a year to over $100,000 a year, especially for the bioinformatics and the research and development areas. Those are, I mean, students when they get out of college can write their ticket. Those are such sought after positions. I want to share with you a couple of success stories, in particular for our company. On December 23rd of 2004, was a pivotal moment in history for our company. How many of you remember when mad cow disease was breaking out in Canada and was heading our way? Our company, GeneSeek, is the one who found that cow. We did the testing and we located exactly what cow on what ranch, who started it, how was it spreading. That came from here in Nebraska. We found that. If it had not been for the genomics testing that we do, it would have ran rampant down into the U.S. And so the effect that that would have had, can you imagine how that would affect fast food restaurants? How would that affect you as the consumer, being able to go to the grocery store and actually be able to find beef? Because it would have decimated our industry. One of the other success stories I want to share with you, Niraj, he has only been with us for 2 years. He started out as a lab tech, and in 2 years he moved up to supervisor to manager of over sample reception and our DNA lab in just 2 short years. He's just one of those really unique people that grabbed a hold and just ran with it. So there are many opportunities. There are lots of room to grow within our company. Ben Pacer as well, he went from a lab tech to supervisor to manager, and now he oversees all of our data analysts. As far as our customers, the effect that this has had on them, one example would be for bull sales with some of our ranchers. We had a rancher who came to us and he needed to do testing on one of his bulls before the sale, and they valued it at about $5,000. And we did testing on it for defects and what traits could this bull pass on that would be positive or negative. When it was all said and done, they came back with such positive traits, he was able to then at auction, the bull sold for over $50,000. So for a $100 investment, you know, he came back and made $50,000, and that's all through genomics testing. We also had, last year, we had a customer reach out to us who suspected that his neighbor was stealing his cattle. And when he went to the sheriff, they said, well, how are we going to prove that? You know, they can change the brand, they can do all these things. And the rancher said, well, I had all my cattle tested. I know the hereditary traits of each one of those. I know their DNA makeup. They came to us, got a court order from, it was down in Kansas, they got a court order. The judge dictated that this other rancher had to have all of his cattle tested with us, and we were able to prove they did steal his cattle. So now there's prosecution ongoing in that area. It happens. One of our other customers with chickens, believe it or not, they had an entire truckload of one of their breeding chickens stolen. Same thing. They were able to prove through genetics that was their load of chickens, and they got the money back from the people that stole it. So it can happen. I know, it's a unique science, it happens. And then the last one I want to share with you is our vet diagnostics lab. As I said, they have a 24-hour turnaround. The biggest impact our vet diagnostics lab has right now is with the swine epidemic that's going on. So we have a 24-hour turnaround. We have customers, like I said, come in the extremes that they have to go to. They will hand their samples out the door of the farrowing house, and somebody else will walk it over to a car, and then that person will bring it to our lab, and then somebody else will have to go out and get it, just so that there's no cross-contamination. And by being able to do that testing on that, they can narrow that down and say, that farrowing house has that disease. And then they can isolate those so it doesn't spread and they don't lose more of their swine than possible. This last year, one of our customers lost 3 out of his 5 farrowing houses because of this epidemic, but he was able to save the other 2. So it has a large impact. So I really encourage the schools to work with students with their not only science, lab, math, computers, it reaches all across. Right now we are working with Lincoln Public Schools in Southeast on their new program that they're working to help students get college credit through the new facility they're building. And so we're working with them on what classes, how to set up the labs, what needs to be taught, and things like that. So we also have an open door. If anybody wants to come and take tours, you want to have your schools come and visit, please let us know. We'd be happy to have them and give them a tour and give them information. Thank you.